looks like the effects of muscle protein synthesis are dependent on increasing blood concentrations of leucine, okay? If you don't increase plasma leucine, you don't get a response. And when I'm talking about that kind of threshold response, that's exactly what we saw. You could give like rated intakes of protein with different leucine sources, and you wouldn't get a response. And then you would finally reach kind of a threshold, and then boom, you would get like a robust response, okay? So you got to hit this minimum threshold, otherwise you don't really get any response at all. That's because you can only really absorb about 5 grams of arginine per unit of time. So you don't absorb a lot of that arginine, okay? Citrulline is very bioavailable, okay? And citrulline can be converted into arginine. So that's a little fun fact for those of you. Citrulline is better, in my opinion, if you're looking for a nitric oxide supplement than arginine. So I'm not of the opinion that you need to separate your fats and carbs. I don't think that's, you don't need to. However, typically your highest carb meals, at least in my opinion, are going to be pre and post workout because that's when you're most insulin sensitive. You can tolerate those things best. Now, I'm not somebody who's believes that the nutrient timing is so critical that you should have 50% of your carbs post workout and 50% pre workout. No, I'm very much more in the middle. It's like 20 to 25%. Our protein intake is 90 grams per day. We're having 70 grams at dinner. 70 grams is not giving us any more than 40 grams. Okay. So you got to get enough to increase it, and that's like we talked about, anywhere from 25 to 45 grams.
How much do they come with?
Thyroid.
Like T3 type. T4.
I will get into that. They obviously do have an impact. Who do you think has more is better able to lose body fat? Somebody who maintains their body weight on 3,100 calories per day, or somebody who does it on 2,200 calories a day, assuming everything is equal, they're genetic identical. Person on 3,100, right? Okay, that is extremely important. So many people set themselves up for failure before they start their diet or whatever they want to do. Okay, let me tell you what. If you're maintaining your weight on 1,400 calories per day, we don't need to be talking about dieting. Okay, we need to be talking about fixing the. I'll tell you what. All right, I think low intensity cardio, low intensity steady state cardio, I have come to believe, for me, all right, the evidence I've seen, if you overuse it, is one of the most dangerous things for your metabolism in terms of maintaining your long-term. Too much protein is bad for your organs. Another big myth. There's no data showing that protein harms a healthy kidney. Don't eat carbs at night. It's one of my favorite ones. Completely erroneous. In fact, there's actually some data that suggests if you eat more carbs at night, it might actually be better for fat loss. Now, I don't. Again, we have reactionary cultures in fitness. Okay, so for a long time, the bros said, don't eat any carbs after 6 p.m. And now we have people saying, eat all your carbs after 6 p.m. I don't think that's one thing intermittent fasting people got right is meal frequency does not seem to make an impact on your metabolic rate. And I definitely think eating too frequently can impair fat loss. Okay? But remember how we talked about every meal has an anabolic cap? Well, if I'm eating 200 grams of protein a day, but I'm doing, let's say, intermittent fasting or whatever, okay? And I'm eating 180 of that at one meal, that really is not going to be any better than 40, okay? And you're not going to extend the duration, okay? And a lot of times they'll pull up a study that was done that looked at whole body protein synthesis when they were protein pulse feeding, and they'll say, see, it was actually better. Well, it was better for their gut and liver, okay? Fantastic. Tell me who wants if you want a huge intestine and huge liver, there you go. And actually, we did a study where we compared unevenly distributing protein intake versus evenly distributed, and we actually found that there was no differences in lean body mass or body fat, but there was differences in muscle mass. And I was like, well, how can that be if there's no difference in lean body mass? Well, guess what? People even unevenly distributed had bigger livers. Fasted cardio, you burn more body fat. You burn a greater percentage of body fat from fat. Absolutely true. You burn a greater percentage of calories from fat doing fasted cardio. You care about what your source of calories from during cardio is, or you care about what causes more long-term body fat loss? Me personally, I care about body fat loss. When you look at the, hang on one second. When you look at the data, high intensity, non-fasted, more body fat loss. Okay? There was a study done where they looked at Incline treadmill walking at 3 miles per hour. Contest prep competitors, this sounds familiar to anybody?
Yes.
For an hour, okay? Incline treadmill walking for an hour.
Oh, gosh.
Versus 6 30-second all-out sprints. Rest as long as they want between to recover. People doing the sprints, 3 minutes of work versus an hour. People doing the sprints, 50% really has to be. Do not never be comfortable with your calorie intake in the off season. Even if you're eating 600 grams of carbs a day, and you're like, man, I'm full, I'm stuffed. Keep pushing for more over time, because the more you suffer in the off season, your metabolism doesn't fix itself overnight. Okay? Because if it did, we wouldn't have massive rebound from like a contest prep diet or a fat loss diet. Okay? How many people here have like done their first show and they went out, they ate whatever they wanted for a couple days and then said, holy shit, it looks like I didn't even diet. Sucks, right? Sucks. Yeah, it is heartbreaking. And again, I don't separate the psychological from the physiological, right? Set yourself up for success in the off season so you don't ever have to get this low. But then also post-show, set yourself up for success by coming back out of it. But we all had this experience because if metabolism fixed itself that quick, we'd gain a little bit of weight and boom, it would stop, right? Because we would adjust our metabolic rate back to normal. Okay? If my off-season intake was 3,300 calories, but I had to get down to 2,000 by the end, okay, but my maintenance was 3,000 in the off-season. Did I jump right up to maintenance and not gain any body fat? Because again, I went from not even thinking this stuff existed 5 years ago to understanding that this is an enormous problem in the body. My definition of like metabolic damage, it's not adrenal fatigue, it's not a thyroid problem. You're looking at disproportionate fat gain or lack of fat loss that's not predicted by calorie intake. So I'll tell you this. I don't like people who have to lose more than 1% of their body weight. High intensity cardio and hard weight training are the only two forms of training which don't seem to drop metabolic rate. Okay? There was a study done on low intensity cardio, and I understand why it's become popular because it's easy. Low intensity cardio is because it's like, oh, I'm not losing weight. Well, I can have another 30 minutes. I'll just get on the elliptical and I'll be on my phone or I'll watch the TV or whatever. That's easy. You're not gonna be on your phone if you're out pushing the car. Okay? You're not gonna be on your phone if you're out sprinting. You know. And one thing I really want to emphasize about high intensity cardio, I'm talking high intensity. If you do it for more than 30 seconds, it's too easy. Okay? You should be like, after 30 seconds of whatever you do, sucking wind. I mean, really hard. And let me tell you what, it'll go by pretty quick, because you're either going to be doing whatever you're doing, or you're going to be sucking wind. Okay? So it's going to go 20 minutes to seem like 10. I've ever heard about long, low intensity cardio sessions was from my friend Paul Ravella. And he said, I hate that soul-sucking cardio. When you get on there, and you go, and it feels like an hour, and you look down, and you've been on 5 minutes. Everybody had that experience? So recap. Protein high enough to maximize anabolism and thermogenesis. Carbs low enough to optimize metabolism, but low enough to allow body fat loss, and that number is going to be different for everybody. And fat high enough to optimize hormone levels, but low enough to allow body fat loss. Optimize metabolic capacity. In my opinion, just as important as any of these things. Okay? And I mean, I've been sitting here ranting about it, but I just can't say enough about it. I mean, it really, you will do yourself such more of a service if you can take care of that. For you guys out there, if you come to me and you say you're interested in coaching or whatever, and again, it's going to sound like a plug. I'm not trying to plug myself. I just want, if you guys want help, I want you to get the best help possible. If that's not me, I will let you know other people I trust. Okay? So please let me know if you want help or you're looking for some people I trust. I will be happy to send you to them. Okay? I will never tell anybody they need a coach. All right? I look at a coach like a luxury car. Okay? I can get from point A to point B in a little Toyota and be fine. But is it nicer ride if I get a Mercedes? Yeah, sure. Should I get that if I can't afford it? No. Okay, same thing. All right? But one thing I will tell you is that don't just hire somebody because they train everybody in your gym, or they're in the magazines, or this, or that, those sorts of things. Really, really vet them very, very well, okay? Because a bad coach can mess you up really bad, okay? So just be very, very careful. That's one thing, like, I consider like Alan Argo a true scientist, because me and him will have debates. And at the end, talk about branching the last name, right? And at the end of it, I'll say, you know what, Alan? I see your points. You make good points. I disagree. He says, I see your points. You make good points, and I disagree. And that's the problem. Sometimes people think science is black and white. Sometimes even experts are going to disagree with each other. That's beautiful. That's like a beautiful thing. And that's what happens to my hips as I go down. You see that? I did not move my knees first. Now your hips go first. Strong walk out. Let's go, big boy. Right there. Big breath. Hips up. jump about that wide, okay? That's a rough guideline. Now I would mess with it a little bit and see what you're more comfortable with, but when you start going to the bar, you want the bar to cut your foot in half, okay? It should be about an inch from the bar or so, all right? And your hands are going to go as close to your legs to get the bar as they can, all right? So we'll go down here. You see how as soon as it cleared my knees, my hips were exploding through? Think about it. As soon as it clears your knees, you're squeezing your glutes through the bar. Okay? Now if you're going to pull sumo, which is what I'm doing tonight, your leg width is kind of purely a matter of preference. I'm typically not super wide, okay? I'm about right here, okay? What I'm going to do, get my shins right next to the bar, and it's the same principle, okay? So I'm going to, and I'm going to think about trying to pull myself down the bar, okay? Okay? Same principle. As soon as I clear the knees, my hips go forward.